I recently saw someone that did everything you're told to do with money and still ended the year $9,840 poorer. No gambling, no luxury, no emergencies, just living normally. The scary part? None of the money disappeared in one place. It was $189 a month in 7 separate app subscriptions they forgot they had. 2 cloud storages, 3 streaming services, a fitness app they opened twice, and a free trial that quietly became $29.99. And those weren't even the worst ones. Another $312 a month in delivery fees and markups because they were too busy to pick up food, even when the restaurant was just 0.8 miles away or could cook themselves. Then the big one, a car payment that jumped from $370 to $612 because the dealership convinced them the difference was only like $8 a day. Add in $96 a month in overdraft and late fees because bills were on autopay but their paychecks weren't synced. And the real kicker, $430 a month in house leaks, random Target runs, little Amazon purchases, and I just needed one thing trips that somehow became $74. None of those numbers feel like a crisis in the moment. That's the trap. Your brain doesn't panic at $14.99. It panics at $14,990. So the money drains slip past your stress response, and decision fatigue does the rest. You stop making active choices and start paying for convenience, comfort, and forgetfulness. And then something weird happens. You start thinking you have an income problem, not a leakage problem. So you chase side hustles, you skip vacations, you feel guilty buying anything, while the real drains keep siphoning money in the background like a slow puncture you never patch. My name is Ben, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, psychology, and why smart people keep going broke in ways that don't even feel like spending. Hit like and subscribe. It helps me create more videos like this. Now, before we talk budgets or investing, we're going to do something more useful. We're going to identify the 7 biggest money drains that quietly burn the most cash in your real life. Stuff that looks normal, feels justified, and wrecks your monthly margin. And I'm going to put clean numbers on each one so you can spot yours in about 10 minutes. You know that month where you didn't do anything crazy, but your checking account still feels like it got jumped? Like you paid rent, you paid the card, you didn't book a trip, you didn't buy a TV, and somehow you're down an extra $620 and you can't point to a single purchase that explains it. It shows up in places that feel responsible in the moment. You take your car in for a simple oil change and walk out with a maintenance package because they offered 0% for 12 months. It's $49 a month, so it feels harmless. Then you realize it includes tire rotations you never schedule and priority service you don't use. 12 months later, you've paid $588 for a bundle you didn't need, and canceling it feels like wasting the money you already spent. Or you upgrade your phone because the screen cracked and the store rep says, "We can get you into the new one today." The monthly payment is $33 plus $18 for insurance plus $9 for premium data. That's $60 a month you didn't have last year. Over 2 years, that's $1,440. Without counting the $110 in random fees they slide in at checkout because you're trying to get back to work. Or you do the thing where you fix stress with purchases that don't look like splurges. A $27 impulse run to the pharmacy because you're out of everything at once. Protein bars, face wash, a new charger, a candle because the aisle got you. Then you do it again a week later. 4 runs like that in a month is $108. And none of it feels like shopping because you never carried a basket full of fun stuff. This is what the money drain season looks like. The big bills are visible, so you fight those. But the silent spend lives in the gaps. Upgrades, bundles, fees, and small rescues you buy when you're tired. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of these drains aren't about price. They're about friction. Anything that removes friction, waiting, calling, comparing, canceling, negotiating, gets your money. Because friction feels like pain when you're busy. The first thing that changes is your default setting. You stop asking, "Do I want this?" and start asking, "Can I make this go away?" And companies are built around that moment. They offer monthly pricing, auto renewals, add-ons at checkout, and protect your purchase boxes you tick just to end the interaction. That's the game we're about to expose. 7 specific drains that steal the most money because they're designed to feel normal. There's also something fascinating that happens when your life gets packed. You start paying to skip steps, not luxury, steps. The moment you're overloaded, the cheapest option stops being the one with the lowest price and becomes the one with the fewest decisions. Here's a clean example. You move apartments and you need internet fast because you work from home. The provider offers two plans, $55/month if you do autopay and bring your own router, or $75/month all in with their router rental and instant setup. When you're calm, you'd take the $55 plan, buy a $90 router once, and you're done. When you're stressed, you take the $75 plan because it's one call. That's $20 extra per month. Over 24 months, that's $480. And the router they rent you? You don't own it. You basically financed convenience at credit card interest without realizing it. This shift might seem small, but it has ripple effects. You stop negotiating, you stop comparing, and you stop reading the fine print. And companies don't need you to be reckless, they just need you to be busy. The first thing that changes is you accept default yes settings, extended trials that roll into paid plans, premium support, and add-ons that feel like they reduce risk. You're not buying stuff, you're buying relief. Now let's do uncomfortable math in a place people don't even label as spending. Your commute and your time leaks. Say you're driving 18 minutes to work, but your mornings are chaos, so you start using toll lanes just today to make daycare pickup easier. It's $6 each way. That's $12 a day, 3 days a week, because you only do it when you need it. That's $144 a month. Over a year, $1,728. Nothing about that feels like a purchase. It feels like survival logistics. Here's where it gets interesting. Friction doesn't just make you spend more, it makes you lock in recurring spending. When you're tired, monthly pricing feels smaller than one-time decisions, so you stack them. Gym you don't go to, $39. Ad-free on 2 platforms, $14 and $12. Cloud storage because your phone is full, $3. Extra device coverage, $9. That's $77/month. In a year, $924. And because it's spread across different days, your brain never feels the hit. I learned this the hard way with set it and forget it services. I had a password manager, a file backup, and a pro email account because at some point I told myself, this is responsible. Then I checked my statements and realized I was paying for 3 tools that all solved the same anxiety. What if something breaks? That's the mechanism. Fear turns into subscriptions. But here's something most people don't realize. Once you start paying to remove friction, your baseline cost of living quietly inflates. You don't need a raise to feel broke. You just need enough small rescues on autopilot. And that's exactly why the next drains are so brutal. They're built to become your new normal. Here's something that might blow your mind. The biggest money drains aren't usually bad spending. They're the expensive defaults you fall into when life gets busy, and the math is uglier than it feels in the moment. Let's do some uncomfortable math with one of the most common drains, paying for speed because you're behind. Say you're working late and you start using a meal kit 3 nights a week because you can't deal with planning. It's $74 per box after tax, and it covers 2 dinners. That's $74 x 3 equals $222 a week. Monthly, that's about $888. Now compare it to cooking those same 6 dinners with a simple plan. Maybe $9 per serving for 2 people if you're not trying to be fancy. That's $18 per dinner x 6 equals $108 a week, or about $432 a month. The I'm too slammed fee is roughly $456 a month. In a year, that's $5,472, just from solving the problem of I don't have bandwidth. Now stack the second drain that hits right after. The I deserve it pressure valve. You're stressed, so you start doing one reset thing each week that costs real money. Maybe it's a $58 massage membership you barely use, plus a Saturday get-out-of-the-house habit, a $32 movie night with snacks, or a $46 brunch because you're craving normal. Call it $58 plus $40 x 4 equals $218 a month. That's $2,616 a year. The kicker is, you don't even remember what you bought. You just remember you felt slightly better for 2 hours. Here's the practical application. Pick one drain and cap it with a hard number. Not be better, an actual ceiling. Like, my convenience budget is $160 a month. If you blow it on 2 rushed weeks, cool. Then week 3 is back to basic. You're not banning convenience, you're stopping it from becoming your new cost of living, and this is where 2 people split. Person A treats these drains like random life stuff. Person B treats them like line items. If person B redirects just that $456 plus $218 a month into something boring, paying down a card at 19% interest, or building a cash buffer, within 6 months they've bought themselves a different nervous system. Fewer emergencies, fewer I need this now purchases, less financial whiplash. But perhaps the most significant change is what happens next. Once you stop paying for panic relief, you start noticing the next drain earlier, before it locks in and becomes normal. Here's what nobody talks about. The transformation isn't you spend less. It's that you stop being financially ambushed. You start spotting the drains while they're still optional, not after they've turned into a monthly bill with a login and a shrug. The first thing that changes is your calendar stops costing you money. Like, you get that random Thursday invite, "We're doing tickets tonight." Old you panics and says yes, then pays $92 for the seat, $28 for parking, and somehow $39 on drinks because you didn't eat. New you has a rule. Spontaneous plans come out of a specific out bucket. If there's $60 left in it, you go, but you pick the cheaper section and you eat beforehand. Same fun, less financial hangover. Second, you stop paying the I forgot tax. Not overdraft/late fees. We already hit that energy. This is stuff like annual renewals and auto pay creep. The gym app you don't use renews at $129. The premium storage plan jumps to $11.99. The domain you bought for a side project renews at $24. The new version of you has one boring habit. A monthly 1-2-minute renewal sweep. You cancel 2 things and downgrade 1. That's $129 plus $11.99 x 12 plus $24 equals $296.88 a year. That used to vanish silently. Third, your home stops being a convenience store. You keep a default set of stuff that prevents expensive scrambles. Phone charger in your bag, a basic lunch option at work, a spare of whatever you always run out of, because those scrambles are never $8. They're $8 plus an impulse aisle plus, well, I'm already here, and suddenly it's $27. Do that 3 times a week and you're at $324 a month. When you remove the scramble, you remove the impulse. Fourth, you get better at saying no without making it weird. Someone suggests splitting a weekend rental because it's easier. Old you agrees, then pays $310 plus, can you Venmo for linens, plus a last-minute outfit because the vibe is nice casual. New you asks one question, what's my total out the door? If it's over your cap, you do a day trip instead. You're not anti-fun, you're pro not being tricked by the package deal. And, psychologically, this is what changes. Decision fatigue drops. When your rules are pre-decided, you don't negotiate with yourself at 9:40 p.m. You don't need a dopamine purchase to feel back in control, because your system already is. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what if my life is genuinely chaotic? Cool, that's exactly who these rules are for, because chaos is where money drains breed. The goal isn't perfection. It's catching the leak when it's a drip, not when it's flooded your month. Yeah, it can feel impossible because the drains aren't one big mistake you can fix. They're tiny, fast decisions stacked on top of a life that's already loud. The good news is, you don't need willpower. You need a setup that makes the expensive option slightly annoying and the sane option automatic. The first thing you do is a 1-5-minute leak audit, but not on your whole budget. Only on the 7 drains. Pull up the last 30 days and circle anything that fits. Rush fees, subscription creep, we'll split it, plans, delivery markups, interest/fees, impulse add-ons, and unused commitments. Then write the total at the top of a note. Not categories, one number. If that number is $610, you're not bad with money. You're just paying for friction. Next, you install 3 rules that kill most of the bleeding immediately. Rule 1. A 2-4 hour hold on any non-essential purchase over $40. Put it in a cart, screenshot it, walk away. Rule 2. 1 admin hour per week, same day, same time, where you cancel, renegotiate, and set reminders. Rule 3. A true total question before social spending. What's my all-in cost? That includes rides, parking, the extra drink, the thing you'll buy to not feel underdressed. If you can't say the number, you don't say yes yet. Now let's do some uncomfortable math in a way that makes this feel doable. Say you find 2 subscriptions you forgot at $17.99, a pro upgrade you don't use at $14, and a streaming add-on at $6, that's $47.97 a month. Then you stop one weekly delivery order that's quietly $18 more than pickup after fees and markups. That's about $72 a month. You also eliminate one oops fee late payment, overdraft, whatever, call it $35. You didn't change your personality. You just reclaimed roughly $155 a month. That's $1,860 a year. Here's where it gets interesting. Momentum makes the next step easier. The first week feels like chores. By week 3, you start catching drains in real time. You pause before the "sure, I'm in" weekend plan. You downgrade the plan before the trial ends. You keep one buffer in checking so a timing issue doesn't become a fee. And it's not perfect. Some months you'll still leak money. But the difference usually comes down to one factor: whether you have a system that catches the drain while it's small. You're not trying to be a monk. You're trying to stop paying extra just because your life is moving fast. So there you have it. The 7 biggest money drains aren't bad spending. They're the defaults that sneak in when you're tired, busy, or distracted, and they charge you for speed, silence, and convenience. Most people think the hardest part is discipline. They're wrong. The hardest part is noticing the drain at the exact moment it tries to become your new normal. Because once it's normal, you stop seeing it. Here's a practical way to close this out without turning your life into a spreadsheet hobby. Pick one drain category and install one guardrail this week. Not 7. 1. If it's fees, set every bill to autopay from a dedicated bills account and keep a boring $200 buffer in there so timing can't bully you. If it's upgrades and add-ons, make a rule that every pro plan needs a calendar reminder 25 days later with one question: did I use the paid feature twice? If the answer is no, downgrade on the spot. If it's impulse plans, create a separate card in your wallet labeled fun, load it with a fixed amount, say $120 for the week, and when it's gone, the week is done. No debates, no stress, no "I'll fix it later." You're not trying to spend nothing. You're trying to stop paying the life is moving fast surcharge. Memorable rule: if you can't name the drain in 10 seconds, it's probably draining you. If this helped, subscribe. More money psychology, fewer money leaks.